And because no one else spoke English in the village, it was quite a small village, I saw an opportunity to learn Thai, to be able to connect with people, and I saw it as not really an option. I had to do it.
Have you ever heard Thai people gossiping about you and you understood what they were saying?
เป็นไงมาไงครับเป็นไงมาไงครับเป็นไงไง Oh, I'm never gonna get this.
What's wrong with you?
I'm interviewing a guy called Paddy Jenkins. He's an Australian fella. He's over here in Thailand on a holiday. But the thing is, he speaks Thai really well. And if he speaks Thai to me on camera and I can't answer him back, I'll lose face. My ego won't be able to handle that. This is the world of YouTube. I'm supposed to be this perfect YouTuber, and if I can't answer him back, what's everyone gonna think?
I've got a plan.
You've got a plan? What's your plan?
I know a way how to trick him. I'm going to give you a phrase that when you speak it, he's going to think that you know very, very, very good Thai.
Wow. I like the sound of that. I'm so glad I married you.
Paddy สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับพีท
วันนี้เป็นผู้เพ่สานิวัตที่เรามาเจอกัน
โอ้ยพีทพูดภาษาไทยเก่งจังเลยนะ
พูดอังกฤษดีกว่าครับ
โอเคอะไรก็ได้ Let's speak English.
Right, everybody, I hope you are okay with this kind of weird seating arrangement. The room that I usually do the interviews in is being retiled, so it's completely off limits, you know. So we're outside and we've got a little seating area that the sun is coming right in on top of us, and we are, well, I'm Irish and you're Aussie,
yeah.
You're white as me. So
to be sure, I'm a Paddy.
he's a Paddy. So Paddy, your first time back in Thailand in 4 years, how does it feel to be back?
It is freaking amazing. It is actually like surreal, honestly, Pete. Like even just landing at Suvarnabhumi airport, just hearing the audio of Thai going around. I'm staying at Chinatown at Wat Mongkon at Yaowarat at the moment, and every day I'm just walking around, I'm just taking everything in. It just feels like I'm back in a second home. I honestly have that feeling with Thailand. Like I'm a proud Aussie and I love my home back in Australia, but when I come back to Thailand I feel this other sense of like a home. And I don't really know Bangkok very well, to be honest, because I've spent most of my time in Chiang Mai, but even landing here, it feels amazing. It's a really hard feeling to explain.
Right, Paddy, I'm just going to put on my sunglasses because my eyes are burning. Right, so
it's awesome up here, by the way. This
yeah,
rooftop,
it's a great view, isn't it?
The views of Bangkok up here. I haven't been like high up yet in Bangkok since being here.
So this is the first time you got like the
yeah.
view, a rooftop view, yeah.
It's awesome. It's so good.
So Paddy, your Thai language skills are like, you know, top class, right? I'm going to cut to a clip of Paddy speaking Thai just to show everybody. Take a look at this.
โอ้ยดูเหมือนผมจะใส่เสื้อเดิม3ใบทุกวันผมไม่ค่อยจะใส่เสื้อใหม่ๆเท่าไหร่ก็แค่เสื้อสีดำทั่วไปอาจจะทำให้คนอื่นๆคิดว่าผมนี่มันน่าเบื่อแน่ๆถึงยังหาแฟนไม่ได้สักทีผมนี่ต้องเปลี่ยนลุคใหม่ซะแล้วแต่ว่าเปลี่ยนยังไงดีโอ้ยThai talk with Paddy.
So there you go, Paddy. You're good. You're really good. Right? I want to know, how did you learn Thai so well? How did you learn to speak so well?
Yeah. So I want to preface first, and I know a lot of people who watch my videos, especially maybe if they don't know Thai or they don't have much experience in Thailand, would think my Thai is really fluent and 100% proficient, but honestly I do have a lot of work to do. My tones, my vocabulary, my pronunciation is often not right at all, but I do have a level of proficiency that really allows me to get around and have deep conversations with people, and for me that's always been the aim. But I definitely don't want to go around saying I'm 100% fluent, because that is not true at all. There are some other people out there in Thailand who I know, a couple of other examples, who are proper fluent and they're professors here at different universities, and I'm just a guy who happens to be on YouTube and is able to use his Thai skills to engage. But the reason that was a very long-winded.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, I want long-winded. I want long-winded.
The reason I first learned Thai was I came and lived here in 2014 as a 17, 18-year-old as a volunteer English teacher at the time. I was living in a small village outside of Chiang Mai. The name of the village was called Hoi Tong, home to the Karen people, who are like, for people who don't know, the mountain tribes, who live just outside in the areas of, often in Pak Nga in the north of Thailand. And they have completely different culture, they speak a completely different language, but over the years have also come to take on some Thai customs as well, so they speak Thai as well. And I lived there for about 10 months on the whole as a teacher there, and because no one else spoke English in the village, it was quite a small village, I did go with some other foreigners who were there as well, but I saw an opportunity to learn Thai, to be able to connect with people, and I saw it as not really an option. I had to do it. I started studying Thai and I really properly enjoyed it, and that was just the start and the catalyst for a Thai learning journey that is still happening to this day. And even when back in Australia, I tried my best. The complete immersion I had just allowed me to get to another level of Thai in quite rapid pace, ultimately, because I wasn't there for that long. Like, I was only there for 9 months, 10 months. So yeah, that was really the reason.
Are my sunglasses putting you off?
No,
Can you see a reflection of yourself?
No,
I don't want you to be put off because it's like you're looking into a mirror. You know,
they're
you
fast.
see the sunglasses.
They're fast as. I love them, Pete. They're glowing.
There's some people
good.
slate my sunglasses in the comment section. Pete, your sunglasses are horrible. I'm like, all right, they were a gift, and I like them as well. So.
All right, great.
All right, so total immersion into the Thai language, right? You said you were dreaming in Thai, and yep. I've heard a couple of people that have, I think that's the next level, right? A couple of Farang over here that I've met that are fluent in Thai, they said they dream in Thai, and Noon dreams in English. Now, I've got a question about learning a language, right? Because I spoke to Noon about this, and she said that she feels like sometimes, because she has like her English language, her skills, and then she has obviously Thai. She says that sometimes when she speaks English, it feels like she has a different personality.
I knew you'd say that. I guessed it before you said it.
Yeah?
100%. It's true.
So do you feel they have a different personality when you're speaking Thai?
Yes. I mean, it's not that different, but I do take on a Thai persona when I speak Thai. There's a sense of humor, things that you can and can't say in both English and Thai that wouldn't make sense in one of the other languages. It becomes a complete part of your identity. To be able to properly speak a language with a degree of fluency, you have to take it on in both mind and body. That's like true fluency, and I still haven't arrived at that. I don't pretend to have arrived at that, but you definitely take on a different personality. You think differently, you say different things. It's all a part of it. It's intertwined.
Okay, so your Thai language is really good, right? We've established that. But have you ever heard Thai people gossiping about you and you understood what they were saying?
Yes, I have. There is one experience which is the most memorable one. It was back in 2014. I'd come down to Bangkok, actually. It was my first time in Bangkok, I think, and I was walking down Tanon Khao San Road, and I went to a 7-Eleven. I came out of the 7-Eleven and I purchased an ice cream, and I was eating this ice cream, and these two Thai women, probably around similar age to me, maybe a bit older than me, they were probably 22, 23 at the time, I was about 18, and they were like looking at me, and I don't know why they decided to say it, but they were like "Ai Farang gin ai dim aroi mai?" Like, look at that Farang eating ice cream, how does it taste? Like, it's delicious. And I looked at them and I was like, "Aroi ma kap, yak long mai?" And I like, "Do you want to try?" I was like, "Aroi mai, yak long mai?" And they were just shocked, and they just left and ran away. I was like, "Tok jai dupa," like shocked. Which
they ran away?
Yeah, they ran away. They literally ran away. They were just like laughing, giggling, like kind of typical Thai schoolgirl style vibe.
Kind of like a little bit like losing face a little.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. And then I actually walked down and said, hey, like, it's like, it was a bit of fun. Like, nice. Like, it was kind of just like a moment there where I was like, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this skill to my kind of advantage. And, I don't know, that makes me sound like a bit of a loser, but it definitely happened, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bit of fun." And then we had a good conversation after. But that's the biggest example for sure as a moment.
Have you ever had an argument with a Thai person in Thai?
Yes, I have. I think when I didn't get into a club one time in Chiang Mai because they wanted to charge me an extra foreigner rate, and I was like, which is like a part of Thailand. You got to accept it. But I think I was on the juice a little bit that night, and I was like, oh, a bit angry. Why are you charging me more?
Aussies on the beer.
I had this like Thai license, and I was like, got me bike up Kidoi cup. Like I have a Thai driver's license as well. Like why not? And they're like, nah, it's 200 baht. If you don't want to pay, you don't come in. I was like, And that was the smallest moment. Then I just headed off. I was hardly an argument. I think I said about 2 sentences, and then I was like, whatever. And left and got up. That's probably the closest thing I've had to an argument.
Do you feel that you get treated differently because you can speak Thai?
Yes. I think 100%. I think Thai people, firstly, why would anyone learn Thai? From a financial perspective, from a career perspective, there's not really an incentive, is there, to learn Thai? Unless you live here and you want to integrate into the place, there's not really a reason to learn Thai. So I think when Thai people see that a foreigner, especially after I've been away for so long, I've been in Australia for so long and I've really tried hard to keep it up while I was there. When they see someone who has put that much effort into learning their language, which means a lot to them, and it's so integrated within their culture, they have an enormous amount of respect, even if it's quite a small level. And then I guess my level is probably greater than the norm, so then they're a little bit more interested and intrigued to see how I got to that level. They assume I've lived here for a long time and whatnot. So yeah, I think they have a respect, not that they wouldn't respect a normal foreigner, but there's just a respect that you manage to get to that level of fluency, or whatever you want to call it.
What is it about you and Thailand? Because I can see that you have passion for this country. You can see it in your videos. It comes across very well in your videos that you love the country. Even when you're talking about the language now, I can feel it that you love the language. There's a passion there.
Yeah.
But what is it for you?
Probably the one thing I love most about it is this attitude of "mai pen rai," which you hear all the time. It's just this no worries attitude. I feel like in day-to-day life, and maybe I've coming from a bit of a foreign bubble perspective here, but back in daily life in, I don't know, places like Australia, the day-to-day stresses of people really get to them. And I'm often back home and just wondering, I work a kind of office job, IT job, and a lot of people let the stresses of every day just worry them so much. And whenever I'm feeling like that, I always just think what would Thai people say? Mai pen rai, mai kid mak, don't think too much. So there's just this energy, hospitality, and feeling of letting go of things that don't mean much that a lot of Thai people have here, that I've found, especially me living in the mountains, in the rural areas. They were so much like that, and it was kind of ingrained into their psyche, just being easygoing, being hospitable, making people feel welcome. They're just lessons that every human should integrate into their daily life. And sometimes when I'm in my busy 9-to-5 kind of corporate job and people are telling me what to do and getting stressed over things that ultimately matter for shit all, I just think of that, and I think that's why I love Thailand, and I think a lot of other countries don't have it to that same extent.
Microphone fell off.
Oh, good.
But that's a really good answer, because I can see that we, as Westerners, sometimes we get caught up in things too much. You have to have that document sent by a certain time. Yeah. And really, people get stressed out about it. But is it that important, really? I mean, is it the end of the world? Not really. But sometimes as Westerners, we can kind of overthink. And that's one of the aspects of Thailand that I love as well, is the mai pen rai. Hey, it's not the end of the world. Mistakes happen, things happen. We readjust, we move on. We don't harbour things.
For sure. You're going to ask me what I don't like most about Thailand, Pete?
You want it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go on.
You want to ask it?
No, go on. You asked it.
Well, this one's an interesting one, right? Because it's easy to say the good things, and everyone talks about the good things in Thailand. But I guess by knowing the language and by knowing things, I do have a more a deeper perspective in some things that are. Yeah, there's two things that I probably would say are my least favorite things about Thailand. The first thing is more in recent years, you would notice this. I think social media just has taken over this place and is sucking the soul a bit out of it. Every young person in the street is taking a TikTok video or taking some fake photo to everywhere they go, and I think it's kind of removing that organic soul that Thailand is so famous for. You go everywhere, and everyone's just taking a phone everywhere. And I like, it's a bit ironic of me to say it. I make content on the internet, but there is something a little bit different about just always flicking out your phone every single time you go somewhere. I don't really like that part of Thailand. It's on another level here, I think. Like it's everywhere. Like we all have addiction and social media addiction to a certain extent, but it is on another level here. So
okay, so that's interesting. So because I've lived here so long, I haven't seen the other side.
Yeah.
So you've just come from Australia. So it's you're saying it's more prevalent here than
Australia. Way more. Like going out to dinner, I don't know about other people's friends, but when I go out with my friends, I don't take up my phone every 5 minutes to take a new photo with a different food or a different angle. And like, at the end of the day, who's it hurting? Like I don't know why I get so caught up on it, but there is something about like being in the moment to me that I think is all this social media in use in Thailand is kind of, it is taking, I don't know, it's having an effect.
I know what you're saying.
It's having an effect.
I often see a group of people sitting around and every single person is on their phone and no one's talking to each other.
Yeah, you go on the BTS, the MRT or whatever, and every single person is just on their phone, which is like normal everywhere, to be honest, but I think it's just on another level here. The second thing probably is just general like critical thinking. Sometimes I think, and that's generally an Asia and the West thing, and it's an obvious point that comes up much, maybe like critical thinking, whether it's in the education system or just where people grow up, probably isn't as promoted here, although it's changing a bit, and like it has both its pros and its cons, but I think another level of critical thinking probably wouldn't go astray here in Thailand.
So you have a lot of Thai friends. What are the differences in the relationships that you have with your Thai friends and your Aussie friends?
There is something deeply like special about having a relationship whilst communicating in a different language with each other. And a lot of my Thai friends also like can speak a bit of English as well, and they see me as a reason and a way to practice their English as well. I think there are some things that it's kind of going back to that personality that you adopt. I kind of adopt a different personality. I say things probably that might like, maybe if you translate it, it would sound either like offensive or weird in English, because that's just what people say here. I don't know. It's quite special. I don't know how to explain it. It's a good question, Pete, but I don't actually know how to explain the difference. Whereas, like, I guess my Aussie friends are just like people I've grown up with for so long. They know me so well. They know me back to front. They know who I am. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other. Whereas it's the same with Thai. I don't know. My answer is I don't know, Pete. I wish I could give you a better answer.
So let's talk about your life in Australia.
I work in a consulting company, a relatively large one. International company, and I work in their data and analytics consulting team, which kind of sounds almost the complete opposite to doing YouTube and talking to people and whatnot, but I kind of came from an IT commerce degree at university and made my way into that kind of area because it was an area that somewhat interested me, and then I've just kind of run with it and taken what I can from it and enjoy it. Enjoy the people mainly.
So is YouTube for you? Is YouTube for you like a hobby, or what is it?
I don't know, like it's probably somewhere in between a job and a hobby. I don't think you could call it a hobby because I put too much damn work into it, and also like I guess get an income from it to call it just a hobby. And I hate the word side hustle because it seems overused, but I guess it's it's somewhere in between that. I work a job and I enjoy having kind of both in my life in a weird way. It makes my life a bit busier, that's for sure, but I get a lot of cool experiences from working the job I work, and I get, like what we're doing right now, some freaking amazing experiences from doing YouTube as well. I probably, a year or two ago, when I kind of made that video and went part-time, I had this kind of feeling of like, let's take YouTube to the next level. And throughout the past year, with COVID and a few things and being limited by what videos you can make and just probably general creative fatigue, which I'm sure you've experienced over the years, I just decided to stop doing YouTube. So I actually didn't post a video for 6 months. And I told myself I'm not going to start making videos until I book a trip to Thailand, come back and just soak it up here. And to be honest, coming back here has been the reinvigoration I've needed to get back up and make more videos, because I think maybe like I was making videos in Australia for about 2.5 years, and I kind of just stopped enjoying the process, which I had enjoyed for so long. So I went back to full-time actually, and now I'm kind of on holidays, and who knows, I might keep extending the leave and never go back. Who knows, that's what happens to a lot of people. They go for a month or 2 months and then they just stay on for a year. The next thing you know, they've been here for 10 years. So.
Like me.
Exactly.
It can be like a hamster wheel, can't it?
Yeah.
When you're making YouTube videos,
Yeah.
you're constantly chasing views and subscribers. The algorithm is pushing you. It's pushing the videos for like 3 or 4 days. Then it drops them down.
Yeah.
The views drop because it wants you to get on that hamster wheel again. And you're constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. And that can be mentally very tiring.
Yes, it is mentally fatiguing. That whole 100%. The hamster wheel is, which is an expression my old man always uses about other things, but not YouTube, but it's 100% correct. It is, and a lot of people don't understand the amount of work that goes into doing YouTube and the mental fatigue and I guess also the fact that you're putting yourself online and you're putting your work out there to be judged by people and you show your vulnerable self in many ways. Well, I like to on my videos, so there's that as well. But yeah, it's such a tiring task, and I think in the last 6 months, by having a break from YouTube, it has actually been the best thing for me. I was in that cycle of the hamster wheel, need to get content out and content out and content out. In the last 6 months, I was like, nah, I'm stopping. I'm moving in with 2 of my best mates into a share house in Sydney. I'm just going to enjoy life, go to the pub on the weekend, hang out, do different things. And once I kind of feel the need and desire and the energy to come back, which I always knew I would, like it was never like I'm quitting, I would come back, and being back in Thailand has really, like I didn't even realize it was going to reignite me this much. It just gets me so pumped. Just like meeting people like you as well who just do this kind of thing, like it's wild. It's so good. I'm just in a foreign country making YouTube videos. I'm like back in my like room and I'm editing a video, and then I'm going out and I'm hanging with people for a bit, and then maybe in the afternoon I'll make a video, and there's just like there's opportunities everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a wild journey. And you're kind of like a typical Aussie, right? I've seen you like a beer, don't you? You had a couple of beers, you're in the airport on the way over, you were reviewing the beer.
I've been known to throw a few down in my time. Sometimes in my videos I like to just like throw a few in just to keep people interested. Yeah, I do like a big night every now and then, Pete.
So Paddy, a lot of people are going to be watching this and are going to be like, oh, Paddy, he speaks Thai, he's over in Thailand, he must be like a playboy, he must have like loads of girlfriends, and he must be getting like people, Thai people watching and going, oh, I love Paddy, like he speaks Thai. And are you single, or what's your story?
I'm 100% single, Pete. 100% single. I've been going on a few dates back in Australia. Hey, none with Thai women, which would probably surprise a lot of viewers. Not that I'm not open to that, but just so happens that that's the case. I'm the opposite of a playboy. I'm a pretty conservative dude when it comes to that. Not that I like don't get around that, but maybe I like just don't. Yeah, like I love going on dates though. I love going on first dates. Just that's a vibe I like. And
well, what I think is interesting is you learn Thai, but it's not like you're not like some pickup artist, because there are guys out there that they learn Thai and you say to them like, why are you learning Thai? And it's like, well, I'm learning Thai because I want to pick up loads of girls, and then that's what they do. So let's have a chat about your channel. Okay, so first of all, I really like your channel, and I've always been a fan of your channel. I've been watching your channel since you started, really. Like it's crazy that we're actually doing this interview. So you've covered like some controversial topics, but you've done it in a very respectful way, right? You've done street interviews in Sydney asking Thai people if foreigners should pay more than Thais, and you've done another one where you called it do Thai people actually care about religion? What is the reaction to Thai people when you come up with your microphone and you're like, I'm filming a piece for YouTube, and it's quite a controversial topic for Thai people to talk about on camera?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of Thai people who move overseas also have this philosophy of like, I'm going and this is a freedom thing for me, and so I'm finally in a position where I can speak out of my ideas and whatnot, and I can talk about it a bit more openly. And so I do find, like, obviously, like naturally, like a lot of Thai people are quite shy, so they don't tend to speak. But honestly, the success rate with how many people accept interviews on the street is staggeringly high. with type. Like, it'd probably be about 50% of the people I ask accept an interview.
Are you nervous of like going up to them?
I used to when I first started, for sure. Like, I like call some partner. Can I request an interview, cup? And yeah, at the start it was definitely nerve-wracking. Nowadays it's just like whatever. If I get rejected, who cares? Whatever. But most people are pretty happy to speak about it. I think at the start, often they're reluctant, and then my whole aim is to try and ask questions that are respectful and nice, so that it gets them talking and they feel comfortable talking to me, and that maybe gets a little bit to get into it. So usually, like at the start of my videos, I'll ask them just a few questions that I probably won't include in the videos, just to get the conversation started, so it's a real natural conversation. And then usually people are pretty open. People are pretty happy to talk about different things. And to be honest, in Australia, a lot of the Thai community does know who I am these days, or they've seen my videos. Not all, but like enough do, because
Are you like a celebrity now in Sydney?
Far from that.
In Thai
Far from that. But like, if I go down Thai town, like, and I'll ask people, they'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen one of your videos before. It's not like that. It's just like, oh yeah, I've seen one of your videos. That's that Aussie dude who goes around annoying Thai people in Sydney.
So now this is, I was going through your videos last night, and I remember watching this video months ago, right? And it was hilarious, right? You did a video titled "Fighting a Pro Thai Boxer After One Training Session," right? Now, this is what I'm gonna ask you, right? At the beginning of the round, you're fighting this Thai guy, right? And this Thai guy, it's obvious that the Thai guy, he knows that, like, okay, Paddy's only had one training session, so the Thai guy's a professional boxer, right? So you're punching him, right? And you're not even going hard, and he's just kind of absorbing the punches, and he's giving you a couple of kicks, right? And then you kind of you go a little bit harder, and you punch, and the ref, there's a proper referee, like an Aussie guy is reffing, and he knows. It's got everyone's in on, everyone knows what's going on. Yeah. And then you throw a punch, and the Thai guy, he kind of fakes and he pretends to be hurt a little bit, and then the ref gives a standing count, and then he comes out and he kicks you, and you go down, you drop, and I saw your face on the ground, like he hurt you, like he winded you, right?
Yeah, that wasn't fake. The drop, where everything else was very much staged. But when he kicked me, I was like, holy crap! I went down pretty quickly.
He kicked you in the side, didn't he? And you dropped down, and I could see your face, like the grimace on your face.
We were all wearing pads and stuff. That was one of the most fun videos I've ever filmed. It was such a blast. The guys at PTJ Muay Thai Gym in Sydney, one of the best Muay Thai gyms in Australia, they were such good sports about it. It was so much fun. That's a long time ago now. That's almost 2 years ago, but yeah, that was freaking hilarious.
That was quality. I love that one. And there's another one video that you spoke about, the habits that you learned in Thailand that you've taken back
to Australia,
right? And one of the habits is putting ice in your beer.
Yeah.
Do you really do that?
I do that. I do that relatively often. Like I would say like the other day I think I bought some cans of beer and they were lukewarm, and I was with mates and we were like, they've kind of been in Asia and they spent some time here, so they kind of understand, and we were like, yeah, let's get the fucking ice around. Let's get the ice in. It's like, yeah, boys. Yeah.
And the other one is ducking down in between people.
I do that. Yeah, I still do that. Weirdly enough, and like with your teeth, like doing that. I don't know if people in Bangkok do that, but yeah, with the teeth, I always cover my mouth. So weird. But just
I've done the ducking down thing as well. Yeah, you know, a little bit. Yeah.
I know, it's shops and stuff. We'll just duck down. I don't know. It's weird. I guess it's a part of my identity right now.
You know, like because I've been over here so long that I kind of think, like, am I really Farang? Or, you know, there's definitely some habits, and maybe my mindset is definitely Thai.
Yeah.
You know, or Asian or Buddhist. I have some kind of leanings to it because I've been here so long. It
doesn't surprise me.
So when you made that video about habits, I was like, yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I do put ice in my beer.
Yeah.
Except if I'm drinking a Guinness. I won't put ice in it.
Yeah, that's one way to ruin a perfectly good Guinness.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so how do you feel about the word Farang?
I'm so okay with it. I'm so okay with it these days. I think when I first started, like, lived there and like it would come up in conversation, I'd get a bit like, my 18-year-old self was a bit like, oh, like, feel alienated and stuff. Nowadays I embrace the heck out of it. I think it's just hilarious. I don't know, maybe it's different for someone living here.
No, I have no problem with it.
But I think my attitude from the start when I first lived in Thailand, I kind of wanted to be, especially because I was so immersed, I wanted to be Thai almost. I wanted to not feel like an outsider at all, and I had thoughts about studying university here and doing all these different things and becoming fully a part of it because I was like 18 years old. I didn't want to hang out. I was telling you before, I didn't want to hang out with any foreigners. I was like, nah, I only want to hang out. It was quite intense. That was my mindset as an 18-year-old. And then the older I got and the more I kind of did other things and had different life experiences, the more I just had this philosophy of I'm super proud of being like a Farang in Thailand who has a really amazing appreciation for both the culture and language. And I would way rather be like that. And it makes your life way easier because the reality is no matter how much you want to try and be Thai in Thailand, it's
You're always a Farang.
Yeah, you're always a Farang.
The only time that it kind of irritates me is if two Thai people know my name.
Yes. I was actually going to say that.
Then they call me Farang.
That's weird. I just don't get that. Like, why? You know my name. Why don't you just refer to me as my name? Yeah, that's weird. That happens a bit, and I'm like, what's going on there? I don't know.
Yeah, because that kind of makes me feel like, oh, now there is that difference between us.
Yeah.
You know, I thought we were friends. Like, I know your name, but now I feel separate from you because you referred to me by my race, not my name.
Yeah, I agree with that. But generally, like, now it's just water off a duck's back. It's just go with the flow, embrace it, enjoy it, soak it up.
So, Paddy, you're here for a couple of weeks, is it? And you're back to Australia?
At least a month, but I haven't really put an exact end date yet. And I'm having a pretty good time at the moment, so who knows? I have said a month minimum because that's just the nature of the 30 days that you get here, and I would have to probably leave or extend or whatever you can do. I don't know. You probably know more about that than me.
You're taking a break from work back in Australia.
I've saved up heaps of leave through COVID and stuff, so I've got a heap of leave. I've saved up heaps, but if I need to take unpaid leave or whatever, a career break, I hope my manager's not watching this, but I might have to do it. I honestly did not think I'd get back. Well, maybe I did. I didn't think I'd be enjoying it this much. I've just gotten back here and been like, holy shit, this is so fun.
Could you?
Maybe I'm just living a fantasy land at the moment because I'm just like staying in like a little hotel. I'm going out filming videos. I'm hanging with people.
You're on holidays.
How long can you do that for? Maybe after like a month, I'll be like, nah, I'm keen to get back to a routine.
Yeah, but would you consider coming out here for like, say, 6 months and traveling the country and stuff like that in the future?
This period has definitely made me want to do that. For sure. A few things going on just generally in home with just a few big events coming up this year, like family events and stuff like that, friends events. So I definitely want to be in Australia for that. But absolutely, and I think this just being here only for a short amount of time has reinvigorated that sense of energy. Because I'll come here for a month and I just won't even scratch the surface, really. There's so many places that I want to travel to in Thailand, and I'm staying in Bangkok for a relatively long time just because I don't know, it's a good place to stay for at least 2 weeks. Then I'll head up to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai and at least that, and then I'll try and do a few places in between. But yes is the answer. I love this. It's so good though when you can just have a natural conversation with someone.
Yeah.
That's when interviews are at their best. Hey.
That's what I try and do, you know. I try and make it as natural as possible, you know. But everybody's different, you know. Sometimes you kind of have to adapt to the other person's style.
For sure.
You know?
For sure. But it's a skill. It's a serious skill. You nail it. To be honest, Pete, you absolutely nail it.
Yeah, I think it's just a combination of listening to what the person says, asking questions, listening, and then maybe follow up on the question and focus on the person, not yourself.
Yeah, listening is the big one. Hey,
because it's far too often
giving someone their attention.
Yeah, you do an interview or you watch an interview online and you see someone just constantly interrupting other people. You know, it really annoys me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I 100% agree. Sometimes people's favorite topic are themselves, right? So. They'll do interviews and then they'll want to bring the subject back to themselves or
yeah, because they want the limelight.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, Paddy, it's been a pleasure, mate. It's you've got a great channel.
Thanks, Pete.
And I like what you're doing.
As do you. I love watching your videos. I love watching the extended interviews. I've watched heaps of them, and it's super insightful.
Well, now you've made
the big time.
Made the big time, Paddy. You're on Thairish Times. You're on that. You're famous
I'm on
now.
a freaking hotel apartment rooftop here in Bangkok doing an interview with Pete from Thailand. Does life get any better? I don't think so.
Well, we'll leave it there, and what I'll do is I'm going to link Paddy's channel in the description, so check out his channel if you haven't already. Thai Talk with Paddy, or as how do you say? I like to hear how you say it with your accent.
Thai Talk with Paddy.
Thai Talk with Paddy.
Thai Talk with Paddy.
So subscribe to Thai Talk with Paddy, and if you like this video, subscribe to our channel, Thairish Times, and hit the like button. Leave us a comment, and if you can, share the video, because that really does help with the channel, helps the algorithm and all that sort of stuff. So thanks very much.
Again,
Paddy's buying a beer.
peace on me.